What's going on, everybody? Alright, well, some stuff showed up today. What I was really waiting on was the batteries for this Canon EOS 30D, which I've been able to bench charge the power supply on. I used a popsicle stick and put it up against the wires and taped it, and I've got it on the charger. It's a 7.4 volts to 3.7 in battery series, so optimal voltage should be probably about 8.4, and this has got a constant current, constant voltage thing. Well, it's hard to keep these damn probes in here so I can monitor what's going on. So what I usually do is I'll shut off the power supply. Let's see, well, what's the battery pack resting at? So I don't want to ruin the battery, so I'm trying to be careful with it. So I see 8.6 on here, but the Fluke says 8.8, which is quite a bit different from 8.4. So what I've been trying to do is I just try and adjust it to 8.4 on the Fluke. But if it's not drawing any current on the battery, then it's probably too low. But anyway, so they shipped the battery pack and charger off at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and it hasn't arrived anywhere. It just says it was like picked up or shipped or something. So we might actually be able to try and force Amazon on their policy. Like I heard some people making them give them the item for free when it's actually late. So according to some people, basically, if Amazon says something's going to be here like in 1 day or 2 days or 3-day delivery or whatever they promise, and it doesn't get there that day, usually it has to be 2 days late, right? Okay. And then you can contact them and ask for a full refund, and then they'll still give you the item. Well, there's videos of people doing this on items that are several $100s. So, but what I'm just tired of is ordering something and paying a little bit more for something that looks like it's going to get here in 1 day, and then it gets here in 3. So it's kind of like the luck of the draw of like figuring out what's actually going to get here on the time that they said. Where I'm at lately, the times have been really weird, and they have like a couple of weeks ago and prior to that, before Prime Days and everything was like 7 days out no matter what you ordered, right? And then recently, about 4 or 5 days ago, maybe a week ago, it started to change. It got to where like all of a sudden they were trying to say everything would come in 1 day. And well, this particular item is a 1 day thing, and I was kind of skeptical that it would be able to arrive that quickly, and of course it did not. But so anyway, back to the flashlight stuff. I mean, not the flashlight stuff, the camera stuff. I've been able to charge this battery like this and test out the cameras. I know that it works, and it works really well. It's a really nice camera, and it doesn't have, you know, every feature that you would probably want today, I guess, for certain things, like an external microphone input. But I don't really know that this is the kind of camera you want to take video with or not. So nowadays we get all caught up in the megapixels and all that. And I have a few different Canon cameras. I've got another one behind me, and I think this one's 24 megapixel. Let me move it over here. I don't knock over something. So I think the T7 Rebel is 24 megapixel, and the T7 has Wi-Fi and all that on it, X amount of focus points, etc., etc. But I've got an older 7 Delta, and it outshoots that camera big time. And it's very similar to this one, where it has all the other stuff on the back, and it's got the heavy magnesium body, and it's some kind of ridiculous amount of frames per second that it shoots, which is faster than a lot of today's cameras. And I guess it was like a sports camera back in 2009. So this one's a 2006. But I guess apparently these cameras are all making a comeback. Not necessarily these kind, but more your point and shoot type of cameras. So I really like point and shoot cameras, actually, and I think they're a lot of fun to use. But I'm not a Gen Zer, but that's what they say. The Gen Zers have went nuts on TikTok, and girls and stuff buying these old, what do they call them? The Canons and the Nikons and the all the Samsung cameras that are all red colored, pink colored, and whatnot. And you know what? I am really happy to hear this, because I think the problem is that everybody's become reliant upon these cell phones, and so to see somebody actually want to use a camera that's not in the cell phone, and we'll get away from the centralized crap of the cell phone, I think that's pretty cool. So anyway, I can't wait to really get to try out this camera. It's really cool. It's got the weight to it. It's just got the chunky, awesome grip. I left this off of here because I got 7 days to return it from Goodwill. So I got 2 lenses and a camera bag and some of the original paperwork. So this was purchased from Royal Caribbean in looks like St. Thomas. So somebody was probably on a cruise ship or something. They probably sold it. It was probably for sale on the cruise ship. Somebody bought this camera, I guess, in 2006 or something. I don't know. Camera's made in Japan. Straps made in China. I've always liked these straps. It's embroidered really nice. But what's funny is that I didn't realize that a camera like this could be valid today. And when you take pictures with this thing and you look at the pictures that it can take, I mean, they're really good. And then I realized, well, 8.2 megapixels is basically 4K. Well, okay, so then why do we need a 24 megapixel camera? Well, the answer is we really don't. So, yeah, and you don't even need an 8.2. I mean, you can go lower than that. So there's one of the Canon's first cameras, the D30, not the 30D, which is what I originally got them mixed up. They have this switch here, right? There's actually 3 positions. I haven't figured that out. It'll go off, on, and then there's another thing. But the D30 that switches up here. Otherwise, they look really similar. And also, what's really nice about these ones is they have the screen right here. So, you get a lot of information on here. But that camera, I think, is a 3 or a 2 megapixel, and then there's people that are using them and shooting with them and making videos about them. And I guess apparently those are considered 1080p. So Also, the Nikons, people really like the Nikons with the CCD sensors and stuff like that. So I don't know if there's a resurgence in these type of cameras as much as there is like for like all the TikTok stuff going on with the point and shoot cameras. Um, I've got a couple of Nikon's point and shoot cameras that I would let the kids use and stuff. One of them is like got like GPS and waterproof and all that, and it has like no type of lens, that sticks out, so that was kid safe. And then there was we had a couple of these other cameras, and I don't know what I did with them, but I think August broke one of them, but because he pushed on the lens, whatever you want to call it, where it telescopes. So they seem to be popular, and people are using them because they take pictures differently than the way your camera does. So I guess like the idea is that I guess iPhones and Android phones have just become too perfect, and so these kids really like these cameras that can take these cool pictures, and they have more of kind of a filmic kind of, as that's the term they're using, filmic. They have kind of like a film feel. So that's pretty cool. I've got a film camera in here too. I really would love to shoot some film. I actually gave away a bunch of the older film cameras I had, quite a few of them, like 3 or 4 of them, to my friend Mike. Just because, like, I don't know, they might have had things wrong with them, and they were Minoltas, and I'm not a fan of Minolta cameras, really. I don't really have any reason to mess with them. But I've got a Canon like 2000 Rebel, and so it'll fit all these lenses that I have, and it takes film. And I think it works, but it takes one of these really weird batteries. So the problem is, here in Arizona, I don't know any place where I could get film developed. So there's, I'm not going to develop my own film or make my own black room or any of that crap. So I don't know how I would get film developed. And then I guess there's like places that will develop your negatives, but I want pictures. I mean, back in the day, you could go to the damn Walgreens and take your roll of film in there. They had all these 1-hour photo places all over the place. Well, I mean, you go shoot some pictures, right? And then take your film in there and come back in an hour or two, and they've got your pictures ready. It was like going and getting your prescription filled. It wasn't complicated. But they don't do that anymore, and I think that's a shame, because like real photos, I mean, there's just something that you can't compare that to. I mean, it's not the same. And like, this is the thing, is our world has just been like absolutely watered down with digital crap, That's why I really enjoy the old radios. I don't have any older cars, really. I mean, according to you guys, I probably do. A 97 F250 and a 2002 F350 diesels. But like when I think of older cars, I'm like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and before all these computers were in and everything. But everything's just so watered down. It's like it would be really cool to be able to go out and just take lots of pictures. But you're gonna have to really think about compose yourself before you take a picture with a film camera, and then you gotta make sure you really know your camera, because you don't know what the picture is gonna turn out like, and if you don't have it set up right, you're just gonna waste a roll of film. But anyway, so I thought I'd share that with you guys. I'm really excited about this camera here, and I can't wait to play around with it. I know that my batteries aren't going to be here today, so I'm just kind of bench charging the other battery, and hopefully we get enough of a charge of it to be able to use it for a couple of hours. I'm just kind of leery about overcharging it because it's a genuine Canon battery, and most likely the other battery from K-Star or Castor or whatever, with the charger, will be here tomorrow anyway, so I don't want to be impatient and blow up a battery. But the batteries are relatively cheap for this. I found them for like $8 or $9 a battery, usually $10 or $11 with a battery and a charger. I found it even one where you could get a charger and 3 batteries for $20. I can't do that for my other Canon cameras. My T7 Rebel, can't do that for that one. So anyway, I got to get to some of this other stuff, so we'll catch you guys later.